Tired of battling weeds in your patio or paving? Sand is a popular choice for weed prevention between pavers, but is it really effective? Today I'm diving into the pros and cons of using sand as a weed barrier and exploring alternative solutions to keep your patio weed free. Welcome to Mr. Make Stuff. Over the years I've done a number of patio paving stop weeds in your patio videos, and I've learned quite a lot from that. You can check back on the channel to see those videos where I did this solution and weeds did not grow for 5 years. They will grow back at some point. However, the longer you can put them off, the less hassle. You don't have to go around picking out weeds and de-weeding your patio paving. Weed proofing pavers. Sand is a great thing to put between paving slabs. There's different types of sand and you can struggle with weeds going through sand. I'm going to give you an overview of the different types of sands and let you know the pros and cons with alternatives and a conclusion at the end based on what I found. Bedding sand, often called screeding sand or sharp sand. This sand is mainly used to lay the pavers on top of, so it's grit sand or sharp sand. It's coarse, it's angular, it's got grains and angular grains. Provides a stable, free draining bedding layer. It's got good drainage, it compacts well and prevents movement of the pavers. Most commonly used bedding sand for block paving is going to be the sharp sand. You've got different type of sand, which is jointing sand. This is brushed into the gaps between the laid blocks or slabs to lock them together and prevent movement. This is known also kiln dried sand, so it's dried in a kiln. Very fine dry sand, usually silica based, fills the joints between paving blocks. And the key properties, pros, would be flows easily into joints, helps interlock pavers, prevents weed growth and insect infestation to some extent. So when we say prevents weed growth, because you've got sand in that gap, it stops seeds being blown into the gap to then seed. So if you have weeds below your patio, those can still grow through the sand, which is where the weed membrane comes in. And I don't use weed membrane, I use DPM, which is damp proof membrane, which is like a plastic sheet. Other alternatives like sand, less common. Washed concrete sand, used in some regions for like bedding, slightly coarser than sharp sand and not angular. It can be used where finer bedding is needed. A big one we hear over in the States and online is polymeric sand. Is a blend of sand and polymers. It's used in jointing and it hardens when wet. Quite a few people mistake this with what I've done with my patio. I used a sand cement mix, which is not polymeric sand, but the same type of concept applies, where you put it in dry, you brush it in, and then the moisture from the environment will heal it basically and cure it. Polymeric sand is slightly different though. The key benefits of polymeric sand is prevents weed growth and insect infestation more effectively, reduces washout from rain. It's more expensive, polymeric sand is, and typically used in high-end or decorative applications. So in summary, sharp sand is used for bedding, coarse and angular, supports the levels and the pavers. Kiln dried sand is jointing, fine and dry, locks pavers, prevents movement. Washed concrete sand, bedding, so medium, smoother bedding, less common. And polymeric sand, which is a jointing type sand, fine polymer, long lasting joints. And at the end of this I'll put another one of mine which I do, which is sand and cement dry. This is an option that I use and it's done well for me. It can discolor pavers, so just be mindful of where you're using it and do some research. And if you want this little table, I'll put a link in the description or my comment where you can actually go and just copy and paste this. I'll put it on one of the websites. You can easily kind of refer to this because it can be hard to take notes when you're watching a video. Sometimes seed can actually provide a favorable environment for weed seeds, so be careful with that. Solution would be mixing sand with other options to try and make it a little bit more firm. So you'll see with my various little clips here over the years, these are videos going back as far as 5 years ago to 7 years ago, and maybe even a 10-year video there where I actually experimented with this. It's a nightmare. Weeds just get everywhere, and I've noticed now in my new house, weeds grow within weeks. So if you have a solution and it stops weed growing for, even in my case it was 5 years, but even if I get 2 years out of it or 3 years out of it and I don't have to weed, then that's quite a big win in my book. The effectiveness of using sand to prevent weeds between pavers is debated. There's lots of comments on my videos where people say lots of different things. Can we stop it? Barrier is going to be a far stretch, but can we slow it down? Any solution out there that says it stops weeds forever is going to be a push. If I can get a few years without weeding, I'm happy with that, and I can reapply this after 2 or 3 years. In my case, I've done one of these where 5 years I've been weed free. You get the odd little growth, which is surface weeds as opposed to deep rooted weeds, so keep that in mind. And this is the best option for weed proofing method for patios and concrete pavers, block paving, known with many names across the world. So I'm hoping this video will give you some insight into this. This is my personal experience from me using these concepts, so I'm giving you real life options. I'm going to show you some videos here of what I'm doing as well, so that helps you use something to visualize what I'm actually doing. So when you're using this type of sand, there's different types of sand out there, and I'm going to be covering those today in this video. I'm hoping that you will find those useful and entertaining to see the process of this. Over the years, weeds can grow through your patio. They can be a nightmare, so let's make sure we're doing the best we can to get these weeds out of the way and stop you pulling weeds constantly, and even moss to an extent, which grows if you don't have a good runoff on your patio. So weeds can be a nightmare. I'm hoping this gave you an overview of the video and the concepts you can think about, and do a little bit more research. There's plenty of videos on my channel and online. I'll leave a pinned comment where you can see other options that are available depending on your budget. There's loads of ways you can do this, so let's see what works for you. Let me know in the comments, how long have you gone weed free with any solution you found online? It'll be amazing to see what the biggest record is.